Welcome back, everybody. If you're just tuning in, we're finishing up our game, which was Necrons versus Votann. Final score, Necrons 71 to a Votann 72. 1 point victory. But I don't think that truly tells the tale of the tape of this one. And a lot of different things that we've seen.
Nope, I won. That's the tail of tape.
Okay, bye, guys. No, there is more to it in that. There is a lot more into it. As we were saying with the dice, there was some weird moments where suddenly, you would hit me with a 4 damage weapon, and I'd pop a 4-up invuln, conversion beamer specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And then other things that were just like 1 damage weapon. It was like fail, taking the 1, which tends to be. I feel like that's the way that I go. It's like, oh, I need a 5 or 6-up invuln. Cool, I can make that like it's a 2-up save. But then 2-up saves with 1 damage weapons. It's like, oh, okay, I guess it just fell apart there. Something felt off, and I feel like I'd be remiss if 3 times during the game you asked me, do you have anything that can move across the table, this, that, or the other? And that really got in my head of, maybe that's an aspect I'm missing. So as my opponent, and I mean, it was very obvious on the table where you took this objective marker and got a sticky marker onto it and were able to move away.
Yeah.
That was definitely prevalent. But there was a lot of other things. So talk to me about that and how that was going through your head, knowing that I didn't have any way to reposition from that point on.
Oh, I mean, it just changes the game. Sticky objectives in many games are useless because there are so many armies that can 3-inch deep strike or uppy downy or everything's deep striking. But in this game, just because I was able to control the objective without even being on it, I was able to put my resources elsewhere. So it definitely made a big difference. And I think some of your characters, I'm worried that they can move like 12 inches and can advance or something because they're floaty little guys. I don't know. So I was concerned about them just zipping around the table. But no, I stickied that objective. I think my command phase of turn 2, and then I had it for the rest of the game. So it scored me points just being out there unoccupied.
Yeah, no, and that was huge. Again, going into it, like I said initially, there was 2 things I was questioning. The CP, I wasn't really stressing too much. I found that when I was feeling stressed out about it, I was already kind of mentally in emergency flight or fight mode. I was already looking at it like I was already in trouble. I was already back to the wall. And what's interesting about this, and I'm actually glad we didn't record this part of it, both of us were basically thinking, oh, I lost. Oh, I lost this one. Oh, I lost this one. Going through it, but turns out in the end, I mean, 1 point, that's a close game. No wonder we felt like it, because we both were looking at it like, oh, I'm not in a position where I can just win this next turn. And it was in turn not because, oh, we were not in a position to win it next turn. It's because it was neck and neck. It was because it was closer in scorers aside, because I had a huge scoring last turn. So I'm sure you were significantly ahead of me throughout most of it. It still was kept close in proximity with the table and the miniatures. One being that I had so many characters was able to help towards the end with being able to take objectives and score those extra points. But you were able to utilize that as well, too, with your little warlock dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Grimnir, he was able to get out there and be in the middle a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely a unique mission. And the combination here, you're getting an extra CP from the bonus mission rule to help out quite a bit.
Did the Hecatons feel better?
Yeah, they are only 220 points, so they're not bad as far as points. I think what frustrates me the most with Votann is just everything is so swingy. The Hecaton conversion beamer and the high last cannons on the Sagittars are all sustained D3, so when they pop off really hard. 2 shots can get you 8 hits. I can tell you
that they definitely do. When they pop off real hard.
But then the swing is so much there. I feel like when I'm playing my Death Watch with my Marines, I have a lot more consistency in what I can expect to do damage. And with Votann, it's just wildly inconsistent. So that whole idea of target redundancy, making sure you have multiple things and multiple targets is even more important than normal, because sometimes the Sagittar gets 8 hits and just absolutely destroys something, and sometimes it 100% whiffs. So it's real hard to predict and play. So I found it a little bit challenging there, but
Yeah, they were much more threatening. I felt like a lot more threatening. Like, man, what am I going to do with these things? How am I going to take these out of here? A couple of the aspects interesting with it. Like I said, I took two different aspects of those two separate armies. How did you feel about it? Did you feel like maybe I went a little too far? Aaron maybe should pull it back a bit and just kind of go back over to the more of the canoptic stuff. Like, was Xeris too much?
you mean too much. I mean, I hate him. Is that what you're asking me? I hate him.
Well, what did he actually do except be Oogie Boogie scary?
Give you extra AP and Armor of Contempt all the time.
On 2 units, one of which the Silver Immortal Squad, that you literally looked up and just picked off. And then for that matter, those lethal hits that I was bringing off that squad, yeah, there were some cool tricks. Yeah, it was a cool trick off the lethal hits. Yeah, it was a cool trick off that plasma stuff. Would I be better served to just have another squad of the Tesla Immortals in there? I almost feel like it'd be better off having the Tesla Immortal with the Translocation Shroud and have another squad of them over the gauze, which granted the lethal was cool. The extra AP is cool, but I felt so tethered late in the game with them.
Mhm.
And not having that unit up on that point, I almost feel like I might want to take another squad of Tesla. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think for Saris to buff those units, maybe you do want more than 2 squads of Immortals, because like the Immortals are very cheap. If you're going to take Xeris, you probably want at least 3 squads for him to buff, and so that when one dies, you have backups there to go. But Xeris is so strong on his own.
That's why I felt with the 2 is because like yeah.
How many points for a 10 man of Immortals? It's real cheap. Aren't they like 85 points for 5 or something?
Yeah, I think it's 150. I'm sorry, I don't have that offhand. But yeah, they're not that expensive. I think they're 75 points. I think it's 150. Maybe.
Yeah, and on OC2 they definitely have the ability to hold some objectives.
It's not that they don't cost that much. It's that then getting all the characters on them starts really increasing their cost.
Mhm.
You know, that Overlord, yes, it's only an 85 point Overlord or Translocation Overlord or a Chronomancer at 50, or a tech, I'd say a Cryptech at 50 to 55 to 60 points. You know, yeah, it's only that. But when you put all 3 together, now you're looking at like a nearly 300, what is it, 300 point unit.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something to play around with. Those Overlords are really strong on their own, though. They did some work in this game. Put some damage on my Hecatons.
Yeah, they are surprisingly strong. I do like that the regular Overlord has a little bit of boosted damage. The Translocation Overlord is still very, very strong, especially with that. It's some stuff I'm going to have to tweak. I might be going a little too heavy on it. I mean, I could go in with like the Tesla Immortals, because the biggest thing with my army is more the Cryptech than the Overlord.
Mm-hmm.
I could run a couple 5-mans of Tesla Immortals with the Cryptechs and be able to do that move shoot off of 5-mans that could then complete actions and do other stuff, and maybe let the Wraiths do more work, you know? So there's some stuff there with it. I still do love the Canoptic Horde. And then the other thing is the spiders. I'm not taking the spiders out ever. I love those things. They're still so good. They're still so good. Yes, this game.
There's a couple times this game where one came back from reanimation, and that's just so much value that you're getting out of that. When I kill one of those dumb things and they come right back, and then they get their 2d6 blast shots with dead wounds. So I definitely think they're slept on. I don't think a lot of other people are really using.
No,
and I think they're really strong.
It does make me though wonder if I should separate it and just not run the Immortals in the Canoptic Horde for things like the Ophidians, for things that can deep strike, stuff like that. So it definitely makes me think, you know, it was something I want to try because I've really been enjoying the Immortals, but I do kind of feel like it might be a sense of one detachment or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not going to work in that detachment. And I might go back to the Immortals, and especially with Xeris, go into Awakened Dynasty. Because Awakened Dynasty, now Xeris gets even nastier. But also at Awakened Dynasty, I have access to Protocol of the Hungry Void, which gives me +1 strength and +1 AP. And might be vice versa. But if you have the character in there, you get one and you get the other one. So that would really make their combat profile very, very strong.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have the reroll to hits initially, but there's other ways for me to be able to generate rerolls to hit, especially off that stratagem that also does that. So I'd be playing more in the CP realm of things. A little pricey, but I feel like there might be some play into Immortals out of Awakened Dynasty, especially because I can then interrupt one of your shooting sequences to reanimate and then pop the orb at the end of the phase. And I might be able to really guard against attacks and shooting attacks more so with the Immortals going across the field. So that's something I would like to consider trying. I almost feel like as I was playing this more and more, I started to reread over some of the stratagems and went, oh wait, that's not Cryptek, that's Canoptic. And some of the stuff that I originally was thinking in my mind weren't exactly working, like being able to loan off a unit. And I was like, wait, that doesn't work that way. Worked well for the Spiders, not for the Immortals. Might want to go that route. Haven't seen Scarabs on the table. Might give them a try. Especially, I'd love to try spending 2 command points on a squad of Scarabs and dev wounding and just going, rah, here we go. Dev wound Scarabs, here we go.
Yep.
So, all right. Any closing thoughts on the Votann, though? I mean, you got the W. They looked good. Always look good.
No, I don't know. I feel like I said, because their swinginess, we got the win today, but I still feel like I don't really know what I'm doing or don't always have a game plan. So I think I need to refine my list and kind of build a game plan out based off of what I'm going to do. Because it still just feels a little crazy to me playing them, because I never know. If I roll a couple 6s, all of a sudden they destroy something. If I don't, then they whiff. But they're still fun. I love my little dwarf guys. So I'm going to keep working on lists. If anybody out there has any ideas for what you're running for dwarfs, let me know. I have most of the codex. I have 3 of most units. So I'm willing to try some stuff. So let me know.
I have an idea. Just roll 6s.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's really
I did a few
easy.
times. Yeah.
Roll 6s, win games. So, all right, guys. Well, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.